Yes, sir, we're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Bandai Tamashii Nation Saint Myth Cloth 10th Anniversary Action Figure Stand Set Review. Let's do it. Taking a quick look at the back of the box, you can see the entire set assembled there on the left side, and then you can see some pictures of some of the Saint Seiya figures, I guess that's how you pronounce it, actually set up on the stand. And I think that looks kind of weird, but we'll get into that in a moment. Quick look at that side. There's another figure here. I can't tell you which figure that actually is, but and on the opposite side, another one of the Saint Seiya figures. And a close look at the Tamashii Nations logo and the Bandai logo. And this is how it looks out of the package. You have a few different layers of clamshells here. So there's one on top, and then there's a middle section, and then a lower section, and everything's here. So this is going to take quite a bit of time. If you know me, you know I'm not the best at assembling these type of things. So with the magic of video editing, I'll be back with you shortly. So that didn't actually take too long, and although the instructions are completely in Japanese, it is still pretty easy to figure out with the picture diagrams that they have on the instructions. So I'm pretty sure I have this constructed in the way that they suggest. Now you can do a couple of different things. There are these sort of damaged portions of the upper part of the pillar that you can swap out with these, and obviously there's 8 pillars, so there's 8 of these little damaged portions, and you can mix and match as you see. You can see some of the possibilities for some of the damaged portions swapped on the top of the pillars. And all I had to do was remove this little cap for the pillars that I wanted to swap the damaged portion onto. And once you have the piece fully constructed, you will have quite a few different pieces left over and some things that you may or may not use. There are quite a few stands that come with this as well that plug into different portions of this. So the stand has a base and a clip that will clip onto the Saint Seiya figures. And you have maybe like 4 or 5 different ports that you can put the stands into. I'll never use these stands. I won't be using them for anything. But and you have the option of switching out these little rocks. These are just ported in with some pegs, so you can swap those out as well. And you got 2 of those on each one of these little gray bases. As I look at it from behind, you can see that the paint scheme, the bricks, and design of the columns and everything is 360 degrees. You know, they didn't skimp out on paint in the back, because you can actually swap out the staircases on the left and right and put one behind, and you know, you have other options because of these little ports here. I think I'll be able to do some unique things with it as far as displaying goes. You know, everything that I do in my collecting life is all geared toward A.C.B.A, is all geared toward articulated comic book art and toy photography, and actually playing with my stuff and doing pictures and setups and videos, and you know, actually just enjoying the figures and the accessories and having a good time with them. So I had every intention of purchasing this or using this. I didn't even buy it. It was actually a gift, but I had every intention of using it for display purposes. I did know that, right off the bat, I knew that it was small. And that is one of my major gripes with it, is that it's very small. It's way too small for the figures that it's intended for one. Way out of scale for those figures. The Saint Seiya figures are like 7-inch scale, 8-inch scale, something like that. Way too small for that. Even too small for 6-inch scale. This is very small. I'll show you some, I guess, size comparisons in a moment. But one of my other gripes, aside from the size, is that it's kind of flimsy. It's not, the way that the parts here connect is not as sturdy as it could be. There's some little clips that go on this part, and you can't lift the entire piece up at one time. You have to kind of do it in sections, or it'll be sagging and falling apart. It's not as sturdy as I thought it would be, and the clips don't really kind of snap into place. It's not the greatest mechanism for attaching all of the steps and everything. So in terms of scale, it's about just a little under 8 inches from the base to the top of the highest pillar, and just a little under 15 inches in width. So you can tell, if you know anything about measurements, that's pretty small. I'm gonna do a couple size comparisons here so you can kind of really get an understanding of how small this thing is. Here's a standard 6-inch figure, Marvel Legends Cyclops here. So obviously he is towering over the pillars. The steps are way too small. Scale doesn't work. And there's the Marvel Universe 3/4 inch Professor X figure. So that's 1/18 scale, which doesn't work either. So 1/12 scale, 1/18 scale can't work. However, when you go even a bit smaller, I would say that this is probably 1/24 scale, maybe even a little smaller than that. This figure is about just over an inch tall, or just under an inch, I can't remember, but just about an inch tall. This is a really old figure that I had that came with one of those EVA units, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it came with a Gundam. I don't know. I've had this thing for so long, and I never got rid of it, even though I got rid of the figure that it came with, because I knew at some point I'd be able to use him for some MSD action or some multi-scale displaying, and that is a term that we use in A.C.B.A. And once I saw that this was really small, I didn't feel totally defeated by that, because I knew that I would still be able to finesse it with some MSD work. So I'm excited for the possibilities of that. So take a look at that, and that looks pretty good. I have the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Giant Man Build-A-Figure here, which I think is probably the best Build-A-Figure that Toy Biz Marvel Legends ever did. And that scales pretty well with this little figure here. And obviously you can let your imagination run wild and do quite a few different things if you're going to do multi-scale displays. And then this piece ends up being a pretty nice piece. It ends up working out pretty well if you do that. So you can actually couple this with some of the other Tamashii buildings and different damaged buildings that they've been putting out recently, and some of the other ground impact effects and different things, and you'll be able to do some pretty fun things and some pretty interesting things in terms of display art. So I think, for that purpose alone, then it is a pretty decent piece. Now this is going to run you about $50. I don't know if it's really worth $50 as far as the quality of it. Again, in terms of the possibilities, there are quite a few possibilities for displaying. That works too. This is the SH Figure Arts Captain America Civil War Giant Man or Ant-Man. So I mean, obviously I'm using Marvel stuff here, but you can use anything DC, anime, whatever. It doesn't work. It doesn't matter, as long as you can kind of finesse the scale and use characters that can decrease or increase their mass, then it'll work. So like I said, a lot of options here. If you have a little extra dough to spend on this and you want to really do something display wise, I mean, the A.C.B.A. World Tournament is coming up. This might be something that can be utilized and some sets for some tournament displays. So not that great for the Saint Seiya figures, but if you have a creative mind, then you can definitely work out some quite a few different options and come up with some really cool ideas. So until next time, peace.
That's crispy.